welcome back to my channel, The Faithful Fibromyalgia Warrior, and I'm Megan. Yes, you're seeing me standing with my crutch today because, unfortunately, I've been in a bit of pain. So, I never really appreciated how effective some of my medication was at managing some of my pain until I ran out. So basically, for those of you who don't know, and you might not, I think I may have mentioned this in a very early video I made, but I take a whole bunch of different medications. I take 200 milligrams of sertraline, and that's to help me manage anxiety and depression. I take 40 milligrams of atorvastatin, or also known as Lipitor, and I take that at night, and that's to help me manage my cholesterol. I also take 2 pills of cocodamol, which is codeine with paracetamol, or in Canada, maybe even in the US, you would know it as Tylenol 3s with codeine. Each pill contains 30 milligrams of codeine with 500 milligrams of paracetamol / Tylenol. Okay, and I take those 2 at a time, 4 times a day. So 8 in total, which is the total maximum allowed. I take 50 micrograms of levothyroxine, which helps because I have an underactive thyroid, so that's to help me with my thyroid issues. Also, I take to help me, the cocodamol / Tylenol 3s with codeine are what I was first given after my spinal disc injury. So when I hurt my lower spine 7 years ago, it was hoped that would be enough. Now I worked up to that. Initially, I was just taking regular paracetamol, a bit of ibuprofen. None of it was helping, so they moved me up after a month or two past the injury. So we're taught this. I suffered the disc injury in March the 23rd of 2014, and within a month they had me on, no, less than that, sorry, within 2 weeks they had me starting on cocodamol. And eventually I was developing other symptoms, which it would take them a year and a half to diagnose properly through elimination and other testing, to confirm that what I had was in fact fibromyalgia. And I was having pins and needles in my upper arms, my forearms, in my upper thighs, in the backs of my calves, sort of tingling and numbness, and also as well as pain, having a very, very hard time falling asleep at night, difficulty sleeping through the night, and it would be the pain that would wake me up. They started me on gabapentin. Now, I should say, I can't remember what gabapentin is given for typically, but in my case, it was given as something that could help calm the brain activity and therefore hopefully slow down the pain signals going to the soft tissues of my body. And they started me on, I think, 200 milligrams twice a day, and I have been on, for the last 2 years at least, 700 milligrams 3 times a day. So 2,100 milligrams max, which is probably the most they typically want to give somebody. And that's in a combination with other things that would cause me to have side effects that would make my IBS worse, or that would cause me upset stomach, or type of idea. So basically what happens, okay, is I have, every year I get a medication review with either my GP or one of the ones at the practice, and assuming that I'm having good relief and it's helpful and it's effective, it just they they put together a batch order. And it used to be that all of my medication, including the gabapentin, sorry, I'm trying to move here because trying to get the screen centered behind me. The reason why they did that was that everything would be issued every 28 days. Everything would sort of run out at the same time. I wouldn't be short of anything. I wouldn't have to remember to, oh, well, I have cocodamol for a week, but I've got to order my thyroid medication today, kind of thing. Now, before COVID, the year before, so as of 2019, yes, 2019, the local pharmacy, which over here, the pharmacy I go to is Boots, what they had done for me is they had taken down all the times I told them when I took each medication during the day, and they built me blister packs. So they would just be cardboard, like those AM, PM dispensary plastic containers. Well, what the pharmacy did was, because at the time I was finding it really challenging to open the blister packs all the time, because that's how bad my arthritis had gotten, okay? They put it all together and separated into 4 different times of the day for the different medications I took, and they created blister packs for me. And every month I knew when to go in. Every 4 weeks I'd go in, it would already be waiting. And so, for example, in the morning, I knew that what I took at, say, 7 o'clock with my thyroid medication, followed by my first cocodamol dose at 9, and then followed by the gabapentin and the sertraline at 10, and then that would all be in the AM box because they only had space for 4 groupings. And then there would be a lunchtime block, and that would be when I take more cocodamol and some more gabapentin. And then dinner would be cocodamol and gabapentin, and then of course at night would be cocodamol and Lipitor. So it would be separated into the 4 categories. Now, of course, with COVID and not wanting to have multiple hands touch all the multiple pills and all the multiple bits of packaging, for the pharmacy and for the patients, they stopped doing that, which is fine, because by the time we hit COVID, and they had stopped doing blister packs, my arthritis had been managed well enough that I could take out what I needed. I have a big plastic container, and I just keep the blister, the sheets out of the box. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Let me get this for you. So, gabapentin, right? So I would have one of these, and I would stick it in the big plastic box. I would keep gabapentin, cocodamol, my levothyroxine, so my thyroid medication, as well as my sertraline and my Lipitor. I would just keep one of these in the box, and as I'd run out, I'd just grab another one from the main pack and go. Everything was fine, no issues, okay? What happened was last year, under the UK government, I'm gonna get my coffee here, excuse me guys. Under the UK government, gabapentin, under a whole bunch of other medication review that was done, was reclassified as they call it a category C controlled substance. So obviously it just means, I guess, they want to make sure people can't abuse it. They want to make sure that, we're not hoarding our tablets, okay? Because I guess there had been a few cases where patients were using it, were abusing it, or they would claim that they ran out because they were taking more than they should have, or saying they took too many, or saying that it wasn't enough. They'd have to up their levels and run out, and then they'd get another prescription ready. Meanwhile, what that meant for me is that, now luckily over here, okay, first of all, I'm very lucky. I do not pay for my medications because of all my physical medical challenges and reasons. Therefore, I don't pay for the medication, which is great. I'm truly, truly, truly lucky. Okay. I'm very thankful that I don't have to pay for it. So that's good. I'm lucky in that sense. I may have to take a whole wackadoodle amount of it, but at least I don't have to pay for it. So what that means is gabapentin is one of the drugs that cannot be blankly issued as a batch release. What that means is, since I order my prescriptions online, basically every 28 days, I go online. Well, I can actually look and see, it'll tell me when I can next order the next amount, right? So I go in, I place the order online, and that request goes to the surgery, and then they send the prescription electronically to the pharmacy. Now, that means I'm not requesting it too early, and it gives me up to a week before I'm due to run out, so I shouldn't run out. Unfortunately, here's what happened this week, okay? I put my request through on Tuesday, and normally that would mean that the surgery would have released it to the pharmacy Wednesday, and I would have had it yesterday, which is when I was due to run out. In fact, I had one final dose of 700 milligrams yesterday morning, and then I had nothing else, right? So when I went in yesterday to sort something else out, I knew that the gabapentin was supposed to have been ready. Unfortunately, I think simply because the surgery is so overwhelmed and busy right now with giving out vaccine jabs, with flu jabs, and just trying to book regular appointments, and they have quite a few staff members who are off sick, not with COVID, but with seasonal flu, that the request to send through my regular monthly prescription didn't go through until Thursday. So, meaning I requested it, but the GP surgery didn't actually release the prescription request to Boots until Thursday. And because they are slumped right now, because they're also giving out flu jabs and COVID jabs for people who book through the pharmacy, that meant that they do need 2 days to put it all together, make sure everything's there, right? Which is fine. That's why I always try to do it at the earliest possible date. So yesterday when I went in to get something else sorted, the gabapentin wasn't available. I did get it today, just before noon, but other than that, I had gone 24 hours without any gabapentin. And I honestly, I've had it happen, and it was ages ago in the past when we were trying to get the schedules all matched up and make sure things were ordered in time, and it was all that kind of thing, right? Trying to fine tune it and tweak it. I went without gabapentin for 24 hours. So yesterday at 10 a.m. was my last dose of 700. And I normally take 2,100 milligrams per day. And I tell you what, I didn't notice it straight away, okay? But when I missed it at lunchtime, I started to have a bit of a headache. By the time I had missed it at dinner time and got into the evening, I was really starting to be so incredibly sore and have so much pain. And everything hurt. Didn't matter if I took the cocodamol because I was going through withdrawal. It was massive. I don't think I have experienced anything like it before. I felt kind of crappy when I cut out sugar and I cut out dairy for 2 weeks. I felt I had a bit of a headache because that was my body withdrawing from the sugars and the lactose and the carbs, right? But honestly, all the original pain I felt before I ever took gabapentin hit me last night. I found it almost impossible. I was exhausted and I was in so much pain I could barely go to sleep. I woke up 2 or 3 times from the pain, and I just felt horrible. And fortunately, the girl who checked their system for me yesterday had said if I came in today, it would be ready and I could collect it. So I did. I went in today just before 12 and they got it ready. They were busy, but they got it sorted, and I stopped. I got outside of Boots, and I went across the sort of the walkway to the Costa just across, because I wanted a coffee. I wanted something. I needed to take the pills pretty much right then and there. And so, wow. I'm still really sore. I was practically in tears waiting to get my cappuccino to go because I was waiting to take gabapentin. Why am I sharing all that? I'm sharing all that because, I don't know, for me at least, I find it's easy to forget how well some medications can work because I still have pain, okay? I've had some gabapentin. I don't get any more again until this evening. But boy, that first dose, after nothing for 24 hours, I don't feel nauseous anymore. I don't feel like I'm going to be sick. So that's good. But I was practically in tears. So when, there are all these different documentaries about people who are what they call it dope sick, who get into things like heroin and hardcore illegal drugs, often, at least in the US, maybe not so much here, but in the States, it's because they don't get free medication. They have to pay for the medication, and a lot of times they can't afford it anymore. And yet, they're not trained, they're not taught how to wean off of it or how to find help, to find ways to ease the pain or manage what they're dealing with, right? So there's, that whole opioid crisis. That's why I have nothing but sympathy. Because I literally thought when I was in town today, before I got that gabapentin, I thought I was going to be sick to my stomach. I didn't even really eat anything today, and I just felt horrible. I felt chills. I had a bit of the shakes. I looked super pale and pasty. I mean, beyond my usual pale, pasty look. And it just made me realize that, first of all, thank goodness I was able to get it sorted this morning, because if I had to white knuckle it for any more time, I couldn't have done it. I could not have done it. Absolutely not. So I'm grateful I didn't have to. But it gives me so much empathy and sympathy for anybody who is struggling with any kind of a drug addiction, whether it is illegal or whether it's prescription. Now, it also goes to show me that even though I still get pain, okay, and I will do, this is not something that will block out the nerves and will not block the pain fully, but it makes a huge difference. The very fact that just suddenly stopping it, after being on such a high level of it for so long, goes to show me, yeah, there's a reason why I'm taking this much of it. And so I wanted to share that because, honestly, one thing I want to say is, as much as I love the ketogenic diet, and it's been nothing but fantastic for me, please do not go into it assuming that you can stop your pain medications. Please don't do that. Please don't just suddenly stop taking your medications, because whether it is something like gabapentin, cocodamol, which is, again, equivalent to Tylenol 3 with codeine, whether it is something you take for mental health issues, whether it is like sertraline or another SSRI medication for anxiety or depression, please do not stop just taking it suddenly, because the withdrawals and agony and the sickness, it is not worth it. And plus, let's be honest, the majority of us are not doctors, are not health professionals. And honestly, we should not be doing this by ourselves. Not if our bodies have gotten used to needing a certain amount of medication every day, If you are like my sister-in-law, who was told she would have to start taking a thyroid medication if she did not reverse her Hashimoto's. And therefore she went paleo. She lost a bunch of weight, and she reversed her Hashimoto's. She had never actually started taking any medication. So she was lucky. She had nothing to stop. But please, 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 anybody who guarantees you that you will be able to just stop all your medications and taking pain stuff and whatever else, please, please do not do that until you've spoken to your doctor, okay? Or healthcare practitioner, please. That's my only suggestion. Mine was because I had no choice. They did not have the medication ready for me yesterday. They had nothing they could give me. So I thought, okay, between now and tomorrow morning, or this morning, I should say, I'm sure I can white knuckle it. It's going to suck, and it did, but I can make it through. But that was not me trying to stop taking gabapentin. Okay, it wasn't. I know I need it, and that's okay. That advice might be more for people who have type 2 diabetes and are looking at perhaps having to take metformin. If you're already taking metformin, please don't stop taking it until you've spoken to your doctor. Try the keto approach, lay off your carbs, see how you feel. I mean, you guys know you've got your glucometers. Maybe, you'll have to cut back on it, or approach your doctor and say, look, I'm going to be cutting out carbs in my diet. Should I cut back on my pills? And have that discussion. Like for me, I get my next medication review August of next year, and who knows? Maybe I'll be feeling great enough that I won't need to take as much Lipitor. Maybe I'll be able to make it through and space out my cocodamol enough that maybe I only need to take 2 pills at a time, 3 times a day instead of 4. But that may not happen either. I'm going to keep taking what I need to take and see how I feel as I go forward. And again, for me, it's because if I forget to take some of my pills, and then I know pretty quickly whether I can actually get away without taking them, if that makes sense. Anyways, guys, I'm saying all that just to say, anybody who guarantees you and promises you that you'll never have to take medication again, don't listen to them, because it's not true. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. If you like the video, I hope that you will subscribe, and I hope that you will like it below and join the group. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask me, or any thoughts, any theories, please put it in the comments, and I hope I'll see you guys again in the next video, which I hope is going to be pretty soon. Anyways, that's it from me, guys. Bye for now. See you in the next one.